everybody, and welcome back to episode 3 of Coffee Chats. Today I'm talking to Taylor Vahey, who is a content creator, entrepreneur, author, and has been in some TV shows as well. So just to start off with, Taylor, what are 3 fun facts about you?
Okay. I hate fun facts. I don't know, I get so nervous because I don't want to be annoying, but then I also don't want to be boring. So let's think. Okay, so I had scoliosis back surgery. So my spine is held together with 16 screws and 2 rods. That's one fun fact. Another fun fact is my dad used to be a bartender when I was before I was born, and they got my name because he was cleaning up the bar and he found a letter addressed to someone named Taylor that someone left in the bar and never gave it to this Taylor. And then he brought it home to my mom and was like, we should name her Taylor. And then that's how I got my name. So that's in my baby book. Yeah, so I like that because I love people. So I'm like, oh, I got my name in a bar with people and stuff. So all right, that's 2. Let's think of 3. All my grandparents or great-grandparents are from Ireland, so I definitely want to go there at some point and see, the family history of some of the towns and stuff, because I just feel like I don't really know anything about Ireland, and it's I'm not I know a lot of people have kind of 10% French, 10% Irish or whatever, but I'm almost all Irish. So I don't know. I guess those are three fun facts to get us going.
Okay, so what was the highlight of your week?
Highlight of my week. Well, I got to see my roommate, and since, college got ended early and stuff, it was definitely hard going from living in the same room with someone every single day. You feel like your siblings, and then not seeing them at all. So she came to Cape Cod and visited and went to the beach and on our boats and stuff like that. So that was fun because it was kind of a tough 4th of July weekend with, the pandemic still happening. So things are closed and canceled and you don't want to hang out in big groups. But I think people are starting to hang out with family and a few friends and kind of knowing who they're with. So that was a good part of my week.
That's really nice. Mine's kind of a similar sort of line. My grandparents came over for the first time since lockdown began. Here the rules that you're allowed one other household in your house, but you still have to social distance inside.
Mm-hmm.
We were sat 1 meter away from each other inside, which was really weird. But they literally haven't left their road since March because neither of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was really nice.
Yeah, it's really hard to know what to do right now, but that's nice to hear that you got to see them.
And so as this podcast is called Coffee Chats,
mm-hmm.
I just really like hearing things like this. What is your coffee order?
Well, I have it here. Dunkin' Donuts. If I go to a small coffee shop, I actually don't usually like the iced coffee. I think I'm just so used to my order that anything else tastes weird kind of. So if I go to a little local coffee shop, I'll usually get something maybe a hot chocolate in the winter, or a iced what are those things called, chai latte, or something not coffee. But at Dunkin's I get a medium hazelnut iced coffee, regular cream and sugar, but then I always get extra ice because for me, if it's watery, I just can't handle it. So I have been known to return the coffee if it doesn't have enough ice cubes in it. I'm yeah, I said that this is extra ice and there's 3 ice cubes floating in here. So I feel a pain, but I'm not gonna drink it. I asked for extra ice. So yeah, that's my go-to. What about you?
I'd say an iced coffee or a mocha.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of depends on the season, but I've recently got really into iced coffee. So
mm-hmm.
But we don't have that good a choice of coffee shops. We have my closest Starbucks is a half an hour drive away.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's not I always watch American vloggers and they're I'll just go to get coffee, and I'm
That's so funny. Yeah, those subtle differences are like interesting. I always think about that with like England or Australia because it's like you still are speaking the same language, but
Yeah, but
those little things that are like you might not think of.
yeah. Could you tell us a bit about what you do? So your channel, school, everything like that. Could you explain?
Yeah, so I am going to be going into my sophomore year of college, hopefully. I don't know what's happening with all of that, but I'm kind of not sure if I want to go back, if it is, socially distanced and all of these precautions, just because I'm not really interested in like just the classes. I'm interested in like meeting people and networking events and clubs. So if all of that is canceled, um, and like they're saying we can't eat in the dining hall and those kind of things, and I'm like, that's where I meet people. Not sure what I'll do, but I think it's too early to tell. A lot could change. So as of now, I guess I'm going back. I'll be a sophomore at Bryant University, which is a small business school in Rhode Island, and I'm studying digital marketing and entrepreneurship. So definitely relates to the social media thing. I do YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, podcast, the whole social media thing. And I've been doing it for a few years just for fun if I go on a trip or, have something big going on. But I've really been pushing myself through this quarantine to come up with content, even if I don't have like a creative burst, and to stay motivated with it. And I'm really happy that I'm doing that because I met so many people through this whole process. I've connected with a lot of people. I just love like meeting people, and if I can't do it in person, online is like the next best thing. I'm surprised more people don't do it, honestly. Like here it's kind of not like weird to be a YouTuber, but it's definitely not the normal thing. Like when I started it, my mom was like, "Oh, is it like Instagram where everyone has an Instagram page?" And I'm like, no. So that's kind of my deal. I also am really interested in business, so I want to kind of combine like social media and entrepreneurship and kind of inspire, especially women, females, to pursue their passion in entrepreneurship. And ideally, maybe after college, if I have a little bit of a larger audience and I'm making a substantial income from social media, I could combine, investing in other people's businesses and vlogging the process of helping them start their companies. And so I kind of see myself as like an influencer / venture capitalist in the future.
That's all really interesting. And I think I'm kind of the same. Like in the past with YouTube, it's just been like, I'll vlog if I go on holiday or like a fun day or whatever. But now it's definitely more of a like, I actually want to do this and put proper effort into it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
For
like
sure.
happened for a lot of people over this time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like the perfect time to do it.
So what made you decide to start your channel?
I just was always thinking about it, and I think it gets to the point where if you think about something so much, it's like, why don't I just try it? Like I was always like, oh my god, I can't believe this person like is posting, like David Dobrik. I'd be like, I can't believe he just hangs out with his friends. Do you watch him?
I've watched his videos before, but like not really.
Yeah. He basically just like hangs out with his friends and does pranks and funny things, and all of his friends are like kind of characters, and they're just 4-minute videos, and I'd just be like, oh my god, this just reminds me of like my family and like what happens anyway, and all he's doing is, recording a bunch of his day and then putting it into 4 minutes. So that kind of opened my eyes to a different type of YouTube experience, because I think a lot of the people I used to watch when I was younger were people maybe like the traditional vlogger of like, here is my workout, here's what I'm wearing, here's me going to get coffee. And it's not that I don't like that, but for me, I'm kind of like, well, what is this doing? Like, maybe I'm being inspired to like work out, but probably not. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's just kind of more like passive entertainment. And then David Dobrik's vlogs were just like very different. So I was like, I think that there's more creativity in this, like what we're doing right now. I haven't seen anyone else do this. So that's cool. That's a new idea. And so I think that it's easy to like watch someone else and be like, all right, I have to do exactly what they're doing. and you're kind of copying them, but I don't even think you're meaning to, because you're just like watching them and that's all you know, and like you're trying to replicate that but also find your own style. So I think I just kind of realized like I don't have to be just like everyone else. I can kind of do my own thing and experiment with different styles. And so I just was like, all right, I'm going to do it. And it was kind of like chill for the first 2 years, whenever I had time. But in the last like 2-3 months, I've kicked it up a notch. So I'm hoping to get monetized that way. My mom isn't like, wait, what are you doing? And do you have a job?
Literally, like I would love to become monetized, because I think, especially like whilst being, I'm in university, so like whilst doing that, it's such a good thing to be able to do, because you can just film your days and like talk about your course and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm a long way off, but
It will happen. You only need like one viral video, I feel like, to get there.
Yeah.
I have enough subscribers, but I need more watch time, and the watch time is just so intense. It's like, well,
like 4,000 or something. Crazy.
yeah. And it's like every video, maybe like a good video will get like 30 or 40 hours, but I'm like, oh, it's so many videos. So hopefully one of my videos and doing daily uploads in July will kind of go viral. That way I can get that watch time and make it into the monetized clan of YouTube.
I hope so. Okay. So you do the Zoom meeting for creatives, which I always forget to join. I've gone on it like once and it was really helpful. But I've watched quite a lot of them. What made you sort of think about it, and do you have any more goals behind doing it?
Yeah, I just kind of, I don't know, I hate being alone. Like I always want to talk to someone. And I think in high school, I didn't realize how alone I was, because I just kind of thought like, okay, if you're motivated and want to be creative and different, then people are just not going to vibe with you. They're not going to like you, kind of thing, which is sad. Like I just kind of like thought that that was the world and was like, okay, that's just how it is. And then when I got to college, I was pretty much the same person, but I was just received a lot differently. I felt accepted. I felt like I was meeting other motivated people and people that were, respecting and interested in what I was doing with YouTube. And so I was like, oh, okay, like I guess my kind of thought on how the world is or perception was off, because I didn't have the best high school experience. And so when I had to leave college, it was just honestly kind of traumatic, because I had to come back to my hometown and I just had all these like feelings of like, I don't belong again. I'm back to my high school self. And I don't think I dealt in high school with those feelings of like not belonging and not being accepted, because I didn't even realize it. So I feel like I'm dealing with that more now. But now that my college friends are all over the United States, I can't really hang out with them in the pandemic. So I kind of needed a new group of friends. So it was more about the friends than anything else. But it's also been really helpful for networking, for collabs, for sharing information. Some of us are really great at editing. Some of us are really knowledgeable about brand deals. So just having that community has been amazing. And I don't know where it will go. I mean, I guess if my channel continues to grow, maybe I could start running it from like a little bit more of a business perspective for smaller channels, maybe charging people, $5-10 a meeting and having them be coached by me once I'm bigger. I don't know where it could go, but I think it's definitely a really exciting, cool concept. So, yeah.
Super helpful. Like, I've never seen anyone do it before. Like, it's almost like a lot of people are just like, I do my YouTube channel, that's kind of it. Like, I have my friends that I've sort of met, but then you don't get to see like those sort of behind the scenes conversations, but you can with this.
Yeah.
It's been super helpful. So on your Instagram stories, you've spoken a lot about TikTok recently, and how it's like such a powerful social media platform, which is definitely true. So yeah, I was wondering if you wanted to speak a bit more about your sort of feelings and thoughts about that.
Yeah, so part of me doesn't like TikTok because I don't like the way that it's based off of sounds. Like, I don't really get it in the term of like why? Like, I don't know if everyone uses the same song or the same, like, noise. It's just, like, strange to me. And it's a little strange to me, like, some of the trends. Like, there's some really specific things. Like, sometimes I'll be, like, scrolling through and I'm like, who thought of this? And why are, like, a million people recreating it? It's like, I don't know if it comes down to people lacking creativity or if the algorithm just really favors using that sound and that trend. But that's the part of it that I don't really like. And so that's why I feel like I was hesitant to use it. But since I have started using it, you just kind of have to accept that, like, you have to use the sounds if you want, your video to do better. It will probably do better if it's a trending sound, or you can always take a trend and kind of twist it and put your own spin on it. But it's just been so crazy how on Instagram you choose who you follow. On YouTube, you have your subscriptions and you're recommended, but you pretty much are knowing who you're watching. And on TikTok, it's just the complete opposite. You're forced to watch people's videos that you don't know. And I think that algorithm is unique to anything we've ever seen before. And from a marketing perspective, I think it's really smart to use it to, get in front of new people. So I think anyone that's on YouTube, anyone that has a business, anyone who just wants to find new people should really use TikTok.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I was very hesitant at first as well. I was like I don't, like, it's fun to watch, but I don't really know what I would do on it. And then, like, none of my videos have really blown up yet, but like, you see, I always get more, like, even if it's still quite a small number, I always get more views than the amount of followers I have. So, and like, one thing I've been doing a lot is like sort of doing little, like, 1 minute vlogs of something that I've been doing, and like just putting a few clips together because I just find that more interesting, I guess. And using like the popular sounds for that. So there's definitely like a lot of things you can do on it, even though at first glance it sort of seems like you should follow the trends, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like just another form of creativity. So I think it's overall pretty good, pretty interesting.
When I was sort of researching you, that sounds really weird, when I was like this episode, I found out that you had been in a couple of TV shows, including The Society, which I've watched some of.
Uh-huh.
So I think if there's anyone who watches this who is maybe interested in that sort of thing, it could be really useful for them to hear sort of how you got into it, what the experience was like, anything like that. So.
Yeah, so it's not something I talk about that much just because I don't know, it's kind of irrelevant in the term in like my day-to-day life. Like, it's an experience I have had and maybe we're gonna we'll continue to have, but it's not something where I like get up every day and I'm like, all right, like I'm gonna do acting or like that kind of thing. So a lot of times people like watch my videos and then they're like, oh, you were in The Society, like they wouldn't know that. So I started doing acting when I was in elementary school. So I did my first Adam Sandler movie in 4th grade. So I wish I had a better answer for people when they say, like, how did you get interested in this or involved in it? And it was just my dad knowing someone in the industry and, getting a connection that way. And then once you kind of have your foot in the door, I think they kind of pull from, previous cast lists to get new people for new movies just because they already have a little bit of experience. They already know the industry a little bit. But it's definitely possible to get involved. Doing extra work is a great way to get involved. You'd be surprised about how many people start off as extras and then they fit the look or are helping out a lot or really committed and they kind of get an opportunity through that. So almost every city has some type of casting agency and it's usually free to put in your email address and you'll get a lot of emails that probably won't be relevant to you, like casting someone who plays the piano. Maybe you don't like it, then you just delete it. But I think that if you're interested in that, doing a little bit of extra work, I don't know what's happening right now with the pandemic. I think a lot of things are on hold, but it's definitely possible. And I would think that or I would tell anyone that's thinking about it to really like think about why you're interested in it. Like if you really have a passion for being creative and that kind of thing, then it could be worth it. But if you are more interested in like meeting people, connecting with people, sharing your story, social media could be better. That's kind of what I found. It's, I don't know, being an actor and going to the level of like Leonardo DiCaprio, where people actually know that he's like interested in the environment. Like a lot of the people we like or watch or respect that are actors, I feel like we don't really know much about them in terms of who they are as people. So I think it could honestly start to be a thing of the past. I don't know. I feel like it could die out a little bit. I don't think people are as interested in watching movies as they were in the past.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think also like with the sort of whole celebrity status that can come with it,
Mhm.
people being more impersonal.
Mhm.
Just don't want
For
to.
sure.
So yeah, that was really interesting. Okay,
Yeah, thanks.
so I watched your video where you woke up at 5 a.m. and waking up early is something that I used to do a lot. I've definitely done it less like this past year. But
Uh-huh.
do you do that a lot, and how do you think it benefits your life when you do that?
Yeah, so I have ADHD. I am always like struggling to stay on task, to catch up with things. So a lot of times people are like, "Oh, you're so organized." I'm like, "No, I'm not." Um, there's usually piles of dirty clothes piling up in my room. Like it just seems like when I tackle one mess, another mess is starting. It's just kind of how I am. And I've learned that there are things I can do to make it better, but just kind of how I am, I'm not that great at thinking ahead, planning ahead. So, in knowing that, usually I have to get up early to do something that's due that day, to prepare for the day, to, I don't know, get an early start on my day where no one's texting me or distracting me. Um, I just find the few hours in the morning to be so much more productive. Like if I do something from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m., if I did that later on in the day, it would probably take twice as long. So I find getting up early, it's something I never want to do, and I've really liked to stay up late and be the life of the party. But if I can tuck myself in at night, I usually feel so good in the morning, and it's just like rewarding and something magical about getting up early. I got up at 4:30 today, so.
That sounds amazing. I miss like when I did that because it's like that time when there's no one else awake and you can just get on, get up. You don't have to worry about responding to texts or the news
Yeah,
or anything.
as
Like,
much fun as it is to sleep in, it's kind of stressful when you wake up at like 10:30 and there's already a bunch of messages and you already kind of feel like you're rushing around trying to get ready and get to wherever you're supposed to be. So getting up early can be nice.
there's this podcast that I sort of where I got when I started waking up early, where I got the idea from, called Power Hour, which sort of talks about that stuff. I think you'd probably quite like it. And she
Ooh,
talks,
I'll write that down.
the whole podcast is talking to people about their morning routines and stuff.
Oh, wow, I like that.
Really interesting, yeah. And she gets up at like 5 a.m. every day, and it's like changed her life basically.
Oh, wow. I'll have to listen to that.
Yeah, I really think you would like it. You are uploading videos every day in July. I had to figure
Hmm.
out what month it was then. What are your sort of hopes for doing that, and how are you organising it? Because I'm hoping to do it in August. So
Yeah. The organizing is not really a thing. Like, I thought I would organize it and I thought I would, I don't know, be like, all right, this is what I'm doing every day and let me plan it out. But a lot of things rely on the weather, other people, things that I cannot control. So I feel like over planning isn't great for me. So I kind of made more of like a list of ideas for the month, and then based on what's going on, I can kind of pull from that and plan like even like a day or two in advance. Like I feel like if you plan too much in advance, it's overwhelming for me. So I'm just kind of going with it, and if I miss a day, I'm going to be annoyed with myself, but I'm just going to have to move on from it. And in terms of goals, I feel silly being like, I want to reach 2,000 subscribers by the end of the month, because it's like, I mean, it's not it's not something, the subscriber count is not tangible in the sense where it's like, if I want to run 10 miles this week, I can be like, all right, I'm going to do 2 today, 1 tomorrow. Like, I can make a plan. With subscribers, sometimes I'll lose subscribers. Sometimes I'll gain 20 in a day. So I feel like it's not really something where you can set out, like, I need to hit this goal. I feel like the goal should be more like, I'm going to upload a video every day and just see what happens with the subscribers. So some of my friends made a subscriber goal for the month, but I just didn't really like feel like that meant anything, kind of. I don't know if that makes sense, but
subscribers are very random.
Yes, exactly. So I'm just going to try to really put out content I really like and build like a portfolio. I've heard some of my friends use that term, so I really like that, like kind of a better collection of what I'm about, and so that when people go on my channel maybe in September when school's starting up and there's not as many videos, they can kind of go back and see what I was working on over the summer.
Yeah, I think something that's quite important when like wanting to get subscribers is having videos that they can watch, because like, you know, when you find a new YouTube, you don't watch one video and then subscribe. Normally you like watch one and then you watch a similar one that they've done and like maybe like 3 or 4 videos and then you would subscribe. And I think that's something that I really need to do. So I feel like doing a video every day would be quite helpful for that.
For sure.
Okay, so you've said that you're very sort of entrepreneurial, and I've seen you post a bit about your marketing company, is that right? Yeah. So if you wanted to, you can talk about that a bit, what it is and sort of what you do.
Yeah, so honestly, it kind of sounds bad to say this, but I'm not that passionate about the marketing company. Yeah. It's just people have reached out to me and said like, oh, like, how did you grow your following, blah, 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 and well, could you do this for my business? So it just kind of started from other people being interested, not necessarily me being like, I want to do this for you. So I do have a few clients that I help them plan their posts out, do ads, grow, marketing strategies, personal branding. And I like it, but it's definitely not something that's cutting edge. It's not anything that different from what someone else could deliver for them. So long term, it's not going to be a thing. But for now, it's just a little bit of experience and networking and whatnot. So that's that. It's not really anything super hyped up. I mean, it's just kind of my interest in like business and stuff, crossing over with social media. So yeah.
Other sort of businessy things that you're doing at the moment that you would like to share?
Yeah, so wait, I actually have something cool that I can show you. So I created this like design for, I don't know if it's gonna be like potential merch of mine, or it kind of has to do with Cape Cod, so it could also be like a tourist design for like a logo, but I registered it with the US Copyright Office, so that's kind of cool because now I have like the certificate of registration, so I own the logo, the design. So this could be for like merch, or I don't know what I want to do with it, but that's kind of like a lot of the stuff I work on. It's kind of like, all right, I'm going to do a little bit of this now, then I'm going to put it on the back burner and wait till the opportunity is right. But every time I think of a business idea, it goes in a document on my phone. It's not fancy. It's just the Notes app. I have 56 ideas in there. Some of them are terrible and don't even make sense anymore. I'm like, what was I even talking about? But they quite literally keep me up at night. Like sometimes I'm falling asleep and I'm trying to meditate and like get zen and be like, let the thought go. And I'm like, oh my God, if you let it go, then you'll never get it back. So I've been known to like jump out of bed in the middle of the night and like write down the idea. So I don't know, I feel like that's part of my ADD. I get very nervous I'm gonna forget something. So I keep a journal with me pretty much at all times, and I'm constantly writing down thoughts, feelings, like perspectives I'm hearing. And normally I never even look at that page again, but there's something comforting about just writing it down. So a lot of the business ideas that I have are just very large scale, and they're not going to be able to happen right now. But I want to, help people with their businesses, I think, and through that kind of gain experience and some income, and then work on some of my larger scale ideas. But for now, I see social media as being my biggest opportunity and where I want to focus most of my attention.
Definitely. So that sounds all really interesting.
Yeah.
Now we're on to the final question, which I ask everyone, and that is, what is the best advice you've ever been given?
Okay. Let's see. I think the best advice I've ever been given is from my dad, and he always says, if you want something, you have to go to whoever it is and look them in the eye and tell them, because it's very easy for someone to not email you back or hang up the phone. But if you look someone in the eye and really show them that you care enough to, drive there or show up and have the courage to tell them whatever it is, whether it's good or bad, I think that your success of getting whatever you want is just going to be a lot higher. So I've really believed in that philosophy. So it's kind of like a joke with my friends. They're like, oh, this person said no, that can't happen, or that's not allowed. But, they haven't talked to Taylor yet. So I feel like I'm pretty persuasive. And when I have my mind made up that I want something to happen, I'm pretty much going to figure out a few different ways to get that going. So I think that that's good advice, because at the end of the day, people can care about you and love you, or maybe they don't, but you need to care for yourself and stand up for yourself. So I think that that's pretty good advice.
So that is everything that I wanted to talk to you about today. It's been really interesting talking to you.
Thank you.
So yeah, thank you so much for coming on. I really enjoyed our chat.
Of course. This was really fun. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
Okay, sounds good. I'll talk to you soon.
Definitely. Thank you.
Okay, bye.